So we are live now, ladies and gentlemen. This is Janice Jimenez of Regal Real Estate and Financial Services and President of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce of South Bay, Los Angeles area. Today's broadcast is something very relevant and actually very important to each one of us. It's I know it's crisis right now, but we cannot take we have to take into consideration the importance of being counted in the census. And with me today, I have Mr. Eric Lachica. He represents the 2020 Census Bureau, and he's here to give us a lot more information and detail on being counted, what to do. So essentially, Census 101. You are welcome to ask questions. We will be able to answer them after his presentation. And please, Eric, would you mind introducing yourself? And let's start with the educational portion of our broadcast.
Maraming salamat. Thank you so much, Janice. Appreciate this opportunity to speak to your audience. I'm pretty impressed with your membership of the South Bay Filipino American Chamber over the past few months that I've worked with you. So ngayon, I'm here to explain the importance of the census that's ongoing right now. It's very easy, takes 10 minutes, and it's it's very confidential, it's very safe. So it's important, it's easy, and safe. And for your audience, mostly business persons, I think the census results this coming in the next few weeks will be very helpful. So I prepared a very short PowerPoint presentation para your audience will know the significance of the census, especially for those new immigrants, our kababayans who have arrived here in the United States in the past 10 years. Being an immigrant myself, I actually, this is my 50th year in the United States. I came here when I was 16 years old. That's how young I am. So I appreciate this opportunity to talk about how important the census will be. So, and I just want to show a PowerPoint. Hopefully I won't have technical problems. I'll do my share screen button. Okay, let's see how it goes. Entire screen. Let me go. Okay, I'll turn on the PowerPoint. Do you see the PowerPoint, Janice?
Not yet.
Okay, I hit the shared that's on the screen. All right. It might, since you're the host, that might be the situation. You're the host of the. Can you bring up your screen, the one I emailed you? Because I think that might be the problem. Let me see if I can do it again.
Okay. We were able to test it yesterday, so it should go. But if in any case, I'm gonna try to put it on here.
Yeah, your invitation. Your that's why it may be you have to log me in. Let me see. Yeah.
So in the meantime, a lot of people think that the census is already done. It's already expired. So has that been extended?
Yes, unfortunately, because of the pandemic situation we're facing right now, the Census Bureau and the Department of Commerce Secretary announced 2 weeks ago that they would extend the online to answer the census till October 31st. It was supposed to end in August 15, but it's been extended to October 31st of this year. And the president also announced that extension a week ago. So we'd love to have the members of the chamber help us promote the census. Kasi, with your network, especially in the South Bay, it would mean it'll make a great impact to our community. Sige, so all right, you got it. All right. So yeah, I just have that small photograph of Mother Mary and Saint Joseph. Since the census has been around for thousands of years, even the Romans 2,000 years ago counted the parents of Jesus Christ and he himself when he was born. That's why they were on the way to Bethlehem to be counted in the Roman census.
That's right.
So ngayon, yung aming, you can look at the next page. The importance is the numbers. And as you know, to know all the numbers would be helpful for business persons like yourself. These are the estimates based on the last census in 2010 and the community survey in 2017 by the Census Bureau. We have more than 4 million Filipinos, both Philippine born and born in the USA. So the breakdown from the latest 2017 sampling, which is a estimate, is that there are more than 4 million in the US, 1.6 million in California. In the greater LA area, there's almost more than half a million, both Philippine-born and US-born Filipinos. Because in the census, one can self-identify himself or herself as a Filipino. And that's in the census questionnaire that many people received or looked online or viewed online. In fact, last week, April 30th, almost all of the households that did not respond online would have received a paper questionnaire. It looks like show you this. It's like this. Okay. This should,
Very,
did you receive yours, Janice?
yes, we mail it back already in time.
Okay. Maraming salamat. So it's very simple. It's only 9 questions, and those numbers will determine how we shape our future. That's why I have my logo in the background. So ngayon, going back to the PowerPoint, Janice, we'd like to explain to your audience that it's important that we engage your business people in the different cities, especially in Long Beach, Carson, Glendale, West Covina, Santa Clarita. Marami na ang Pilipino sa Santa Clarita. You can just, since over 10 years, many of our Pinoys in downtown and the valley have moved to Santa Clarita. Of course, we have high concentration in the South Bay. So the next slide will show you the why it's important. It's in the Constitution. We are required by law to count everyone all the way back to the days of George Washington. In fact, he was the first census taker for the so it determines how we're going to be viewed. And the next slide will show you the importance of the census. Everything from government decisions, marketing studies, to healthcare planning, to demographics are based on census data. And the census only happens every 10 years. So you're in the real estate business, you're in the healthcare business, Janice, the numbers that we get, which are the official numbers, will be crucial in the post-pandemic recovery efforts. Sige, next slide. Based on the 2019 study by the George Washington University, more than $675 billion are set aside for states and our cities and our community programs, including our nonprofit groups who receive grants from the state and federal and city governments. I have the slide with Mayor Eric Garcetti, my tukayo, when he launched the campaign back in April last year, 1 year ago. He said that for every Los Angelino, for every Filipino that we miss, we would be a loss of at least $2,000 per year. The numbers are much bigger, in my opinion. That would be a loss of $20,000 per missed Angelino, a resident of the LA County area. So it's very vital that we have accurate numbers. So next slide will show you the breakdown. That was in 2016, the fiscal year. $115 billion was set aside for California. Next. And very important, it's about representation. Um, Members of Congress are apportioned based on the number of people living in each state. California has the largest population, and we may lose population. That's one fear faced by many of the California delegation in Congress because of immigration to Nevada, for example. Many Filipinos retired to Nevada for, of course, tax considerations and so forth. So, in fact, this representation, when I was working in Congress for the past 20 years for our Filipino World War II veterans and their legislation, many of the members and their staff always ask me, Eric, how many Filipinos live in my district? How many Filipinos live in my state? So that's how they judge our political clout by numbers. Sige, next. So a year after the census, they redistrict each state based on the number of people living in certain areas. That's why we have a big challenge here in the greater LA area, because over the past few censuses, past decades, LA County is the most difficult, hard to count neighborhoods in the country. So that's the big challenge to us Filipino leaders in Southern California to count our community properly, accurately. Sige, next. And very clearly, it's the confidentiality. It's very safe to answer the census. We are protected by law. The Immigration Service, the FBI, cannot force me or my colleagues to divulge any personal information that we gather from the census questionnaire or online. The FBI cannot force me under the penalty of persecution or prosecution. Hindi pwede. So it's very safe that our community answer this census. It won't affect their benefits. There's their SSI or their Medicaid or medical benefits. So hindi sila dapat matakot sa answering this.
Can I interrupt you for a little bit there and maybe just ask you a question? Because there's a lot of people that live cohabit in one house, and sometimes a landlord or the homeowner would have the rooms rented. How is the census taking that? Is that one household or each individual that is not a member of the family a different reporting, or how does that work?
Yes, the instructions in the paper questionnaire and online explains what they count, who they count. First, it asks question number one is how many people were living or staying in this house, apartment or mobile home on April 1st, 2020. That's the benchmark. How many people live in a address? For example, your address is 2011 Orchard Street, Los Angeles, and it's rented out to students, to family in the back garage. So the household head or landlord would have to fill this out for everyone who live at that address on April 1st. So
the landlord is the only person that counts everybody in the house, even if they're not related?
Yes, ideally that would be the one who fills out the form online or on the paper questionnaire. For those renters who feel that they were not counted for some reason, that the landlord didn't want to claim that that he was a resident or she was a renter for tax purposes, and that I've had that situation brought up to me. That person, that renter, can do it himself or herself. they can go online and use the address that where he or she lives as the reference point, and they will be sorted out. They will be included in the population count for that area, for that neighborhood.
I think the fear is that, you know how we have a maximum number of people that should live in one property. So I think there's fear that once they fill out that form correctly, then they will report it to some sort of a law enforcement agency, and then therefore they would have some negative effects afterward. Is that true, or is that a fallacy that you don't have any? You don't report it to anything, or they're afraid to do the census because some people that live there may be non-registrants, or what shall I say, non-residents of the United States.
Yes,
So how
yes,
does that work?
yeah. There are two issues you raised about the renters, the bed spacers, so to speak, or renting a part of a room. And because, as you know, the population is very high, especially in the central LA area. And that's the big challenge that we are facing. We want full cooperation. We need to educate, motivate our landlords to count everyone. It's to their advantage. If the landlord, for some reasons, is reluctant to include those renters or those tenants, it's up to the tenant to be counted. That's why we work closely with our Hispanic leaders, with our Korean community leaders, our Vietnamese American leaders, to really get the word out, to have them be counted. Kung mga kolorom, yung mga garage are being rented out, you know,
Yes.
those renters of that garage can do it on their own. They should be persuaded. That's why we are working closely with our ethnic media, from the Asian Journal to ABS-CBN, Balitang America, to GMA Pinoy TV, with other major corporations who are sponsors, like the mainstream, like Target, Walmart. Kasama namin yon. They're trying to get the word out. Be counted. Just go online. Don't worry about duplication, because if, for example, there are 5 people living in the garage and there are 5 people living in the main house, that will be sorted out once they do cross-checking. And the only people who can cross-check are Federal Census Bureau workers, who are prohibited from sharing any information with other government agencies. That's very clear.
Yeah, so Catherine and Eva just posted a question that says many people are hesitant to file it because they worry about their privacy or immigration status. So it's important to for everybody to share the information, that it is safe. You don't report anything to law enforcement or anything like that. The most important thing is for us to know how many people are actually in California and needs help, because these numbers would reflect a certain budget that goes to Congress, that goes to our state, that goes to our local districts, and goes to our local cities. And the budget is directly related to how many people live there. So if we hide people, and say, for example, like now, we have a pandemic, healthcare is the number one thing that we need help with. So if we did not allocate budget for those people who were not counted, then that's the fault of the people that did not fill this out properly, correct?
Yes, we have to educate and motivate our community, and especially working with our trusted leaders like yourself, Janice, and the chamber members, especially with our religious leaders, like the Catholic Archdiocese is helping us. They're doing public service announcements. Our Filipino ministry are all supporting what we're doing, para they can tell their kababayans, the new arrivals, to be counted. I've been to so many Filipino restaurants, Filipino stores, Seafood City, Jollibee, explaining this. Hindi sila dapat matakot. It's very safe. It only takes a few minutes. And if you look at the questionnaire, there's no question. There's no questions about immigration status. No, nothing about citizenship, despite some unfortunate developments before. So, they have nothing to fear. The census is to their advantage. They can do it online. That preserves their confidentiality. This is done for statistical purposes. We cannot provide other agencies this information. Even the state of California can't, or the mayor of LA can't force me to divulge personal information about what you filled out on the form.
So Eric, I know that I interrupted you with your presentation earlier. I just want to make this more interesting and make people get involved. So tell me if I'm wrong, but I know that right now there is a push to challenge everybody and all of our friends to be on social media. And there is a cash prize that's motivating us to do this, right? Can you tell us about that? I mean, I heard it. I have emails about it, but I want you to tell us about it.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. We have a video challenge prize of $30,000 to community groups, aspiring videographers, especially on social media like yourself, Janice, can do 30-second, 3-minute segments maximum online broadcast if it goes viral. And we have judges. I think the deadline's on Thursday. They can
Oh,
show.
wow.
Yes.
It's
so
it's
so they can apply there.
$30,000, ladies and gentlemen, to do your little skit, little video blog. I actually have something. Let me see if I can show it to them. I have what we call the census resource guide. I have it on PDF. So if you want a copy, I can send it to you. If you just go ahead and type on the comments that you want me to send it to you. Eric, let me just show it to them how they can do this. And I actually, before we went online, I was trying to do one to kind of do an example, but in the back of my mind was, hey, what if it goes viral and I can win the $30,000? But anyone, I wouldn't need the EIDL or the PPP loan if I get one of those days. But yes, people, $30,000 in store if you can do a nice TikTok, a nice video. So I'm gonna just show it to you really quickly, see if I can do it properly here. I want to go share a screen. I'm trying to be a little technical with you guys, but here goes. All right, so if you can see that, I'm gonna try to make it that bigger. There, and then this document has all of the information that you need, but here's where we find it helpful is you can customize your images here. And this is all done for you by the 2020 census. But look at these guys. You can do things like this. You can do little banners, little media posts such as this one for the census. And then you can do videos like this down here below. Let me see if I can put it up right like this one. Let me see if I can play it. Let me get rid of this banner here. And we did not play there.
It's all about power and money. Almost $700 billion per year. And it only happens once every 10 years.
It directly impacts our representation in government and the money that goes to our communities.
Our schools.
Our housing.
Our neighborhood programs.
Our lives.
So what is it?
The census.
A population count of America. But it's much more than that.
It's the basis of distributing power and money.
From the government to our communities.
The unfortunate part is that a lot of us.
Okay, that's 2 minutes, and we don't want to show the whole thing. You guys would want to go ahead and do that yourself. But I just really wanted to show that because you could do TikTok, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, little plugs, and you can edit your videos and send it out and see if that can actually become viral, right? What's the how do you judge who wins the $30,000?
Well, they have a select group of judges. They have been given criteria to go through the. I think there are more than 200 already, submitted.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So,
we have a lot of talents in the Film Chamber of Commerce South Bay here.
well, you're dealing with you,
Guys,
you, yes,
I am
especially.
calling. I would love to have somebody from our territory to win this contest, even just a runner up, because it's one, you're helping the community. You're shouting out, say, hey, everybody, we need to get counted. We need to get more money for our city. We need to get more
Mhm.
money for Southern Cal, and also, you'll never know. If it catches on, hey, the more people that sees it, the more chances of winning, right?
Yes, and I've informed some of our aspiring videographers, media persons already know about this. So thank you for bringing up that video.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to your slide so you can continue your presentation and then see if I can get some more questions here for you. Okay.
Excellent.
All right.
All right. So yeah, everyone counts. We count everyone living in the United States only once and the right place. I should have this photo of my family. We are very diverse. We mostly live in California. So we count everyone. I got 5 sisters and 1 brother and my in-laws. My daughter's right there. So importante, we count everyone. We have, in fact, the big challenge is convincing our family members. Some members are very reluctant. I had one family member, oh, I'll only do my census once I get my stimulus check.
Yeah. So
Some,
you have nothing to do with a stimulus check, right? Nothing
no,
to
that's
with
I think, yeah.
nothing to do
I was
with
going to ask him, well,
no,
did you
nothing
file
to do
your
with the
income
border
tax?
control.
Oo. So ganun, we start with the family, then we start with our fellow members, our friends, our friendship circle. Sige, next slide. Okay. All right, this is easier than ever. We just start the online census. It should be very easy. It takes 10 minutes to do one person online. So we have a call-in number for those who are internet challenged. English phone number 844-330-2020, or online is the quickest. They can, if they don't have a computer, they can borrow their friend's smartphone. And in fact, some leaders are doing that to help some challenged. I have dealt with an elderly landlady one time, and I showed it to her on her smartphone how to do it. I had to walk her through the census questionnaire online. That can be done. It only took her about 15 minutes because we had to explain to her what it meant. Sige, go ahead. So as I said at the beginning, the census started way back at March 12, and October 31st has been the extension date. So we can do it on the internet, smartphone, on the telephone, on a paper form, which most of the households throughout America should receive, or in person. They will probably start in July. The census takers, they'll start knocking on doors, assuming the best case scenario when the stay-at-home order is lifted in the city. So just wanted to emphasize, next slide. The challenge for us here in LA, in Southern California, is that this is the hardest to count area. We are so popular, California. We have, so many challenging populations, from the homeless to the elderly to the children. We count children as long as they were born on April 1st and onward. They should be counted. We last 2010, we had a problem with children. Some parents thought, oh, the kid was just born on April 2 or April 3. We shouldn't count them. They should have been counted. All newborn children, especially kids under 5, should be counted. Many senior citizens have a lot of challenges, just like people with disabilities. 60% of Los Angelinos are renters. They move a lot over the past 10 years. And of course, our community, the foreign-born and the refugees. So that's the big challenging our populations we deal with here in Southern California. Next slide. Okay, what's the latest response? As of today, more than 55% in the United States have responded online or on the telephone. That's 55%. I'm rounding. California's also has the same response rate. LA County is lower to 52%. The other cities in LA County like Carson, Long Beach, Torrance, Santa Monica are about the same. The LA urban areas, LA City is lower. You can see the difference, right? Almost 10 points between the California average rate and the LA City residence rate. So this would need help. And LA City is pretty big too. We have more than 2.5 million or folks who live in LA. About 12 million live in LA County. So we have to really help, especially, I'll show you the next slide, historic Filipino town area, San Fernando Valley, the West Covina, Cerrito's doing pretty well. I mentioned this because I did a lot of studying of the census tracts, the neighborhoods in historic Filipino town on Temple and Union and Alvarado area. It shows you the demographics there. We have a high population of Filipinos still there. Many have moved already to the suburbs, but we still have a low response rate. And it's 35% from the 2010 census did not respond to the census in 2010. So they had to we had to knock on their doors to get a response. Hopefully we'll have a 98% complete count. That's I think the goal that numerically that we're aiming for. I think in the 2010 we missed I think a couple of thousand folks just in the downtown area. So we need the help of the Filipino businesses in the area, the Filipino restaurants, the Filipino stores. So ganun po yung, by the way, as a business person, Janice, you can go to census.gov to roam, reach out, area mapping. You can do your demographics down to the neighborhood level or census tract level. You can find out how many have problems with English, not Tagalog speakers, how many people have internet access, how many people are foreign born, what's the average income per household. These are the official numbers that many of our major corporations look at, how they plan their investment, opening up a local Walmart or Target or CVS. They look at these numbers down to the neighborhood or census tract level.
I think this is a good time for us to let people know that we are looking for people who would want to take a job at the census, correct? Is that still going on right now, Eric?
Yes, everything's put on hold. Our field operations been put on hold until we get a lifting of the stay-at-home order. We are monitoring the situation, and the earliest best case scenario, they'll be starting the training in late June or early July, depending upon the availability. For those who'd like to apply, they can still go online on 2020census.gov jobs. That's go online, they can apply, and they'll be doing many of their application forms online too. So census.gov jobs.
Okay. All right. So you heard that, guys. If you are looking for a job right now, this is a good time to put in your application at the census. So that's 2020 census dot jobs or
Job.
dot gov slash jobs.
Yes.
Correct?
And yes, and you will be working in your neighborhoods, so you won't be driving too far. You will be, in fact, it'll be a good chance to know your area. And they increased the hourly rate to $25 per hour, which is pretty good for a part-time job.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And it's a good experience. It's a great for your resume, especially for recent college graduates, to know the neighborhood, to know the demographics of their community.
Okay, so moving on to the next slide.
Okay, this is how your chamber can help spread the word. Newsletters, websites, social media. Just like with the Archdiocese of LA, they also have PSAs now on their website. They have our link, the 2020 census.gov. Everything's got done. You can do your census questionnaire answers online, the same website. And we we seek the invitations of different groups like yourself. I've done with your Rotary, with your other folks online, doing virtual meetings like this on Zoom, on Facebook, on other WebEx, because we need to motivate, energize our community leaders, our business leaders, to really do the outreach. Even many of our Filipinos restaurants and like Seafood City are open. Jollibee is open. They can ask their customers, have you been counted? Nabilang na ba kayo? Sumama na sa census. Those personal appeals, because alam mo mga Pilipino, they need a personal touch, especially new arrivals. Talagang sila ang problema natin. I had a lot I can tell you stories about mga bagong dating. The census, what's that all about, Eric? In Tagalog. Sabi ko, importante mabilang kayo.
And these applications are available in Tagalog too, correct?
Yeah, they have online. We have also an online. They can call in. Kung nahirapan sila to go online, they have a Tagalog line. They can call that number that I gave earlier. Let me say, that 844-330-2020. That number I flashed on the screen up the first few slides. Oo. Sige pa. There you go. That 844-330-2020. At least my memory is still good. They call that, if they have a Tagalog situation, they will be connected with a Tagalog speaker. But the quickest is that number.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I think, is that the last of your slides, or?
Yeah. So that's why we have to motivate. We have to reach out. We have to explain to business leaders what's in it for them, especially yung mga funding, mga grants for the post-pandemic recovery efforts. These census numbers will be very important. That's why it's time to be counted. Thank you very much, Janice.
So I have a couple of questions for you still. For those who have received the paper applications or the paper survey, if they lost it, can they ask for another one?
Unfortunately, from what I was told, they have to go online. If they lost it,
they have to go online. And then I have another question. Will filing the 2020 census impact your stimulus check if you haven't already received that?
Unfortunately, it's totally separate. As you know, the stimulus check goes to mostly online too. So if you filed your taxes in 2018, 2019, you'll get priority. So a totally different animal. So, but those numbers, the census numbers, hopefully will help in the rebuilding efforts in 2021. That's why we have to have this complete count done properly. And I just want to say that we have to really start with our circle of friends. I was doing some what you call phone banking training with some of our leaders, the NAFA, the National Federation, with the National and the Southern California NAFA of Greater LA. They see the effectiveness of phone calls. Sa Pilipino, high maintenance, kailangan tawagan eh. Para sumagot sa census. I tell you, I have a lot of I had to call people up. And some of them are also business leaders. Nga pala. It's here on my desk. And I explain this on a funny note. Why should you answer online? Answer by phone or on the mailing it back. Kasi if you don't, the census taker will come knocking on your door. They will try 3 times to talk to you or your family members sa bahay. If you don't open the door, what will happen? They will talk to your neighbors. They will talk to your neighbors about you. And you don't want that to happen, right?
No. But then
that's one motivation.
When these people come in, see, because I'm kind of just a little concerned because there's a lot of scams going on right now,
Sure.
and the people are not opening the doors. How will we know if the people knocking on our door are actual employees or the actual people that are supposed to be doing the census and not the bogus or people who don't have good intentions?
Well, they have to, the census taker will have a badge like mine. They'll have it on their lanyard around their neck. They will have a census bags, a US Census.
Can you show us your badge again?
Yeah, this is the official. I'm a salaried employee, so that's my. So,
Okay.
and all our census employees will have badges. They will have, and you will be reminded several times to answer it online or by paper. So that will be the last stage when our census are out there in the field. We're going to have almost 500,000 door knockers do it in starting. I think I'm optimistic in July. It's important to answer the census.
So when is this totally due? What's the deadline for submitting census?
Yes, well, I was informed that October 31st is the administration's policy. We've opened it up from August 15 to accommodate the delays caused by the pandemic. So we need all of your audience members to engage their circle of friends and their clients and customers. Oh, have you been counted? Especially your real estate brokers who are doing prospecting, or they're especially our corporate leaders. They can post this on their website, our logos that you showed on the screen earlier. And we will deeply appreciate it. They can be an official partner like Walmart's, like other major corporations like Jollibee, helping promote the census over the past decades, and Red Ribbon. So they will help promote our accurate count, which benefit them. They'll know exactly how many Filipinos live in Southern California or in the United States.
That's true. So anything else that you would like to leave them with? I think we're about 40 minutes in now, 45 minutes in, and we've probably answered all of their questions. If there's any more questions, I would forward them over to you if people who are watching this broadcast as a replay. So any last words for our viewers?
Well, thank you to the South Bay Chamber. You have a dynamic team there. To your audience members, I've seen some of your videos. They're very inspiring. They're very energizing. Being a community advocate for decades, I appreciate your leadership, and we look forward to working with you and your up and coming team members to make sure that the numbers will shape our future right there in 2021. and on until 2030. That's what the next.
Yes, but for me, I would definitely urge everybody to be a part of that challenge. All your peers on the social media, and you'll never know you're going to win the $30,000. Is there any more like consolation prize besides the $30,000?
There are also other nonprofit groups, like I recall there's in the California Challenge group. They also have a separate prize. They also have grants with local community groups. So I would send a separate link for that to you, Janice, so they can apply. Just click on the link. They have deadlines to meet, and you can set local partners. And they can also work with the local city government, because local cities have their own rewards program to help promote the census.
We have our viewers here that are very, very talented in the field of video making and broadcasting. I want to say
Yes.
hello to Abe watching from Beaumont, California. I want to say hello to Kat and Eva Felson. Hi, you should do this. Do a little song skit, for the census. And RJ, our audio video expert here, Fred, our board of directors are watching. And you know what? I'm going to leave you with something I just did 10 minutes prior to our broadcast, because, hey, this is going to go viral, and I could win the $30,000. Be here. See if you can.
Even while social distancing, please take a moment to respond to the census. You can do it online, by phone, or by mail. Respond to 2020census.gov.
How's that?
Magaling talaga. Magaling.
So it took me about 10 minutes to do that. I just did it so that it's for an example for people who would want to, take part in this. It's exciting. It's something to do, better than TikTok. Nobody's going to pay you $30,000 to do TikTok, but hey, do it for the census, and you just might be the winner of the $30,000. Right?
Yeah, and there are, I think, other smaller prizes. I think on that challenge grant.
Yes. So you may win a date with Eric Lachica too.
I'm married.
Well, hey, we know we just want to eat. Filipinos, if you want Filipinos to get involved, you gotta feed them, right?
Yeah, no.
That's the reason why when we do our mixers, we try to feed them so they're happy and they're full, so that you have their full attention.
Yeah.
So
We
maybe
have the lumpia and pancit strategy. Hopefully, we can celebrate at our next picnic, probably in July. Celebrate.
when we can celebrate together. So
I know.
looking forward to that. So I think as of now, I want to thank you for your time, for sharing your vital information. This is very important. Please, everybody, if you have not done so, fill out your census form, send it back, or you could do it over the phone. You can do it online now. So it is very important. We wouldn't have so much of the mask issue and the PPE issue if all of us been counted. You know what I mean. So this is one of the things that where our census information is serves us. So again, thank you all for watching. This has been a great show, and thank you, Eric, for your time. See you again in the next broadcast. And I'd like to take a moment to remind you, tomorrow at 5 p.m., we will have Dr. Blasco back, the emergency room physician that did a broadcast with us 3 weeks ago. And we will have a follow-up on what's going on with the pandemic, the COVID-19 on the local front, because she is a frontliner. She works for a couple of county emergency departments, and we'll see what's going on that front. So watch out for that tomorrow, same time, same place on my timeline, or the FACC SLAA timeline at 5 p.m. See you then. And once again, be safe.
Maayo.